Hi, I'm Sarah. Today I'm going to read you the story of Maya, which is titled like this: My parents tripled my rent to support my unemployed brother and his pregnant blogger wife, who live in their house for free. This is you helping your family. So I moved out without telling my new address, leaving a note, good luck. Well, let's go. I'm Maya, and I'm 30 years old. Right now I'm sitting in what used to be my parents' apartment, but has been my home for the past 8 years. It's weird how things work out sometimes. When I graduated from college, I thought I had everything figured out. Full scholarship, degree in pharmaceutical sciences, job lined up at a decent company. My parents had this empty apartment just sitting there while they lived in their 2-story house across town. Maya, you can live there, my mom had said back then. But you'll pay us $800 a month. $800. At first I was kind of annoyed. Here I was, their daughter who had worked part-time jobs since I was 16 because they taught me I needed to know the value of money, and they still wanted to charge me rent. Meanwhile, my brother Jake, who's 2 years younger than me, had never worked a day in his teenage life. He just lived off whatever my parents gave him. But $800 was way cheaper than anything else in this neighborhood, so I said yes. I got my job at the pharmaceutical company and moved in. Every month like clockwork, I transfer the money to my mom's card. Never missed a payment, not once in 8 years. The thing is, when I moved in here, this place was pretty basic. Old furniture, outdated appliances, nothing that felt like home. So I started fixing it up. I bought a new couch, a decent TV, replaced the ancient refrigerator, got new bedroom furniture. Every single purchase, I ran by my mom first. Can I get a new coffee table? I'd ask. Sure, honey, just make sure it matches, she'd say. I spent thousands of my own money making this place livable. I painted the walls, bought curtains, got nice dishes, even replaced the old washing machine when it broke down. All my money, all my choices, but always with their approval. The whole time I've been saving up. See, I know I can't live in a rental forever, even if it is cheap. I want my own place someday. A real home that's actually mine. So I put money aside every month, building up that down payment fund bit by bit. But there's always this reminder that it's not really my place. Every time I go to family dinner at my parents' house, they say stuff like, "So what's new in our apartment?" Not your apartment or the apartment, our apartment. Like I'm just some tenant they're doing a favor for. Jake still lives at home, by the way. 28 years old and still in his childhood bedroom. He does odd jobs here and there, nothing steady. My parents just let him coast along like they always have. 2 years ago, everything got more complicated. Jake got married to this girl named Brianna. She's what you'd call an Instagram influencer, though not a very successful one. She films herself doing makeup tutorials and food posts, that sort of thing. She doesn't have a regular job either. So now there's Jake, Brianna, and my parents all living in that house together. And let me tell you, family dinners became a whole different experience after that. The first time I came to dinner after they got married, Brianna had completely taken over. She was ordering everyone around, telling my mom how to set the table, making my dad wait to start eating because she needed to film the food first. "Everyone stop," she'd say, holding up her phone. "I need to get the lighting right for my story." We'd all sit there while she took like 20 photos of the same plate of spaghetti. My parents just went along with it, smiling and nodding like this was totally normal. I tried to be supportive at first. I really did. But then came the incident with the sandwich. I'd arrived at dinner early and saw some sandwiches on the counter. I was hungry, so I grabbed one and took a bite. Brianna came into the kitchen and saw me eating it. She completely lost it. "Are you kidding me right now?" she screamed. "Those were for my video. I spent 2 hours making those look perfect. I can't post content with a bite taken out of it." I tried to apologize, but she kept going. She called me selfish and inconsiderate, said I didn't understand what it was like to be a content creator. By the end of it, I was so upset I left without eating dinner at all. I cried the whole drive home. After that, I started avoiding Brianna as much as possible during family gatherings. I'd be polite but keep my distance. She'd spend the whole dinner talking about her follower count, her engagement rates, how she was going to be rich and famous soon when the right brands discovered her. I'd just nod and eat my food. I mean, I know how these things work. Maybe 1 in 1,000 influencers actually makes decent money. But I wasn't going to be the one to burst her bubble, especially not after the sandwich incident. The conversations at dinner became all about Brianna's career and Jake's various get-rich-quick schemes. Meanwhile, I'd sit there thinking about my actual job, my actual responsibilities, my actual bills. But nobody ever asked about my work or my life. It was all Brianna, all the time. I remember one particularly painful dinner where Brianna spent forever showing everyone her latest Instagram post. It was a picture of her breakfast, and she was explaining the strategy behind it. "See, I used these hashtags because they're trending," she said, scrolling through her phone. "And I posted at 9:15 a.m. because that's when my audience is most active." My dad was nodding along like she was giving a TED talk. "That's very smart, Brianna." Jake was beaming with pride. "My wife's got it all figured out." The worst part was watching my parents enable this. They'd give Jake and Brianna money for groceries, pay for their car insurance, even bought Brianna a ring light for her videos. Meanwhile, I was paying them $800 a month and getting lectures about knowing the value of money. But I kept quiet. I kept paying my rent, kept saving money, kept showing up to family dinners even when I wanted to stay home. I told myself it was temporary, that eventually they would get real jobs and move out. 3 weeks ago, I was having a normal Saturday morning. I'd just finished my coffee and was about to start doing laundry when my mom showed up at my door. Actually, showed up isn't the right way to put it. She didn't knock or ring the bell. She just used her key and walked right in. For a second, I thought someone was breaking in. I was in the kitchen and heard the front door open. My heart started racing until I heard her voice, "Maya, are you home?" I walked into the living room and there she was, looking around the apartment like she was inspecting it. She had this expression on her face that I couldn't quite read. Kind of critical, like she was finding problems with everything she saw. "Mom, you scared me, why didn't you knock?" She didn't answer my question. Instead, she kept looking around, checking out the furniture I'd bought, the way I'd arranged everything. It felt uncomfortable, like I was being judged. "We need to talk," she said finally, "sit down." I offered her coffee, but she waved me off. "No, I don't have time for that, this is serious." So we sat on my couch, the one I'd saved up for and bought myself, and she got straight to the point. "Maya, things are changing around here, Brianna's pregnant." I knew this already, they'd announced it at dinner 2 weeks earlier with this big dramatic reveal. Brianna had cleared her throat and made this announcement like she was giving a speech. "I wanted to officially announce that I'm pregnant," she'd said, while my parents applauded and my mom started crying happy tears. I'd congratulated them, of course. But even during that dinner, I could tell Brianna was already making plans. She talked about wanting to go on some kind of baby moon vacation before the baby came, about needing to redecorate what used to be my old bedroom, about getting a bigger car. My parents just nodded along to everything she said, like they were ready to make it all happen. "I know about the pregnancy, Mom, I was there when she announced it." "Good, then you understand that everything's different now. Brianna needs support during this time. She needs money for doctor visits, for baby stuff, for herself." I looked at my mom, confused. Shouldn't Jake be supporting his pregnant wife? That's kind of how marriage works. My mom's face got this annoyed look. Jake is still figuring things out. He's finding himself, trying different opportunities. And Brianna is going to be a big influencer someday. She's building something important. I wanted to laugh. Jake had been finding himself for years. Every few months he had some new plan, cryptocurrency, online sales, multi-level marketing. Nothing worked because he never stuck with anything. "Mom, what does this have to do with me?" She looked me straight in the eye. "Starting next month, your rent is going up. Instead of $800, you'll be paying $2,400. Brianna's pregnant, and babies are expensive. $2,400, that was 3 times what I'd been paying and way more than market rate. Most apartments around here went for $1,500, maybe $1,800 for nice ones. Mom, that's crazy, that's more than apartments cost anywhere around here. This isn't just rent, she said, this is you helping your family. Helping your brother. I felt my face getting hot. I'm not paying $2,400 a month. That's ridiculous. Then you need to move out. We can find other renters who'll pay more than what you're paying now. Normal renters who understand that good apartments cost money. I sat there in silence for a minute, trying to process what was happening. My own mother was basically kicking me out unless I agreed to pay 3 times the rent to support my unemployed brother and his pregnant wife. Fine, I said finally, I'll move out. After she left, I sat on my couch for a while just thinking. Then I got on my laptop and started looking for apartments. I had enough saved up that I could afford first month's rent and a security deposit pretty much anywhere. The money I'd been saving for a house down payment would have to wait, but I could manage. By that evening, I'd found 3 places to look at. The next day was Sunday, so I called and set up appointments to see them. The second apartment I looked at was perfect. It was in the same neighborhood, actually closer to my work. It was empty, so there was no furniture or appliances, but that didn't matter since I'd bought everything in my current place anyway. The rent was $1,600 a month, which was double what I'd been paying my parents but still way less than the $2,400 they wanted. And this time, it would actually be my place. My name on the lease, my apartment, my rules. I filled out the application right there and put down the security deposit. The landlord said I could move in by Wednesday if my application was approved. Tuesday morning, I got the call that I was approved. I took a personal day from work and started packing. Here's the thing about that apartment, everything in it belonged to me. The couch, the TV, the refrigerator, the dining table, the bed, the dresser, the dishes, the coffee maker. Everything except this old wooden table that had been there when I moved in 8 years ago. So I packed up everything I'd bought. I rented a small moving truck and loaded it all up. The only thing I left was that old table. And on it, I left a note that just said good luck. I didn't tell my parents I was moving that day. I just sent my mom a text message, I moved out, thanks for everything. She read it, I could see the little red receipt, but she didn't respond. For 2 days, my phone was quiet. I thought maybe that was it, maybe they'd just let me go without any drama. I was unpacking in my new place, setting up my furniture, making it feel like home. Then on Friday, my phone started ringing constantly. My mom, my dad, Jake. Over and over again. I let them all go to voicemail at first. Finally, my mom called again and I answered. Maya, what the hell did you do? I moved out, like you told me to. You took everything, the apartment is completely empty. I stayed calm, I took my stuff, the stuff I bought with my own money. We already found a renter, we promised him a fully furnished apartment. Then you probably should have checked with me first. She was yelling now, you bring that furniture back right now, or I'm calling a lawyer. That made me laugh, go ahead, Mom, call a lawyer. But you might want to think about whether you want to explain to them why you've been collecting rent from me for 8 years without any kind of lease agreement. I'm pretty sure the IRS would be interested in that conversation too. The line went dead quiet. You're not our daughter anymore, she said finally. If that's how you feel, I said, and hung up. After that phone call with my mom, things got worse before they got better. That same night, Jake and Brianna started texting me. Long messages about how selfish I was, how I was abandoning my family when they needed me most. Brianna sent me voice messages calling me greedy and heartless. She said I was jealous of her pregnancy and her success as an influencer. Success? She had like 9,000 followers and made maybe $50 a month from sponsored posts. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I blocked all their numbers and blocked them on social media. Instagram, Facebook, everything. I was done with the drama. The next few weeks were actually peaceful. I settled into my new apartment, got used to my new routine. It felt amazing to come home and know that nobody was going to remind me it wasn't really my place. For the first time in 8 years, I felt like I actually had a home. Work was going well too. My boss had been talking about promoting me to senior analyst, which would come with a decent raise. I was putting in extra hours, trying to prove I deserved it. About a month after I moved out, I ran into my cousin Sarah at the grocery store. Sarah's always been the family gossip, so I knew she'd have updates. She looked around like she was worried someone might overhear us. "Your mom told everyone you stole furniture from them." I laughed. "Of course she did, what else is she saying?" "That you're ungrateful and selfish." "But honestly, Maya, everyone thinks what they did was wrong." "Trying to make you pay for Jake's baby? That's not right." It was nice to hear that not everyone in the family thought I was the villain in this story. "How are they doing anyway?" I asked. Sarah made a face. "Not great, they can't find anyone to rent the apartment for what they wanted. They've had to lower the price 2 times. And Brianna and your mom are constantly fighting." "Fighting about what?" "Everything. Brianna wants to move into the apartment now that it's empty, but your parents won't let her because then they can't rent it out. She's mad because she thought they'd be getting all this money from you to help with the baby." I felt a little satisfaction hearing that their plan wasn't working out. "What about Jake?" "Still not working, still talking about his big plans. Last I heard, he was trying to start some kind of podcast about cryptocurrency." Of course he was. 6 months passed, I got the promotion at work, which came with a 15% raise. I was saving money again, building back up my house fund. Life was good. Then one evening, I was leaving work and saw Jake standing by my car. For a second, I thought about just walking past him, but he'd already seen me. "Maya, wait, please, can we go somewhere and talk? Maybe that coffee shop across the street?" I didn't want to, but I was curious about what he had to say. We walked to the coffee shop in silence. I ordered a latte, he got nothing. "I can't afford coffee right now," he said when the barista asked what he wanted. We sat down at a corner table. Jake looked terrible. His hair was messy, his clothes were wrinkled, and he had dark circles under his eyes. "Maya, I need your help, Brianna, and I want to move out of Mom and Dad's house. We need our own place, especially with the baby. So get jobs and move out, that's what normal adults do." "It's not that simple, I have a baby now, I can't just work any job." I stared at him. "Jake, you've never worked any job for more than 3 months. Ever. This isn't about the baby." His face got red. "That's not true. Name one job you've kept for longer than 3 months." He couldn't, we both knew it. "Look," he said, "I know I made mistakes in the past. But I'm trying to be better. I'm working on this podcast thing, and I think it could really take off. The cryptocurrency market is exploding right now. People want to learn about it." I wanted to laugh. "There are already thousands of crypto podcasts. What makes yours special?" "Well, I'm just starting out, but I have some really good ideas." Same old Jake, big dreams, no actual plan, no follow-through. "Why are you telling me this? What do you want from me?" "I need money to move out, just a loan. I'll pay you back once the podcast starts making money." "How much money?" "Maybe 10,000? That would cover first month's rent, security deposit, some furniture." $10,000, for a loan he'd never pay back to fund another one of his get-rich-quick schemes. No. "Maya, please, you're my sister. Brianna is miserable living with Mom and Dad. They fight all the time, the baby needs a stable home. Then get a job, Jake, get a real job with a steady paycheck and move out like everyone else." He started getting loud. "You make good money. You got that promotion. You could help us if you wanted to." People in the coffee shop were starting to stare. I stood up. "I'm leaving, don't contact me again." "Maya, wait. But I was already walking out, he didn't follow me. That night, I heard from Sarah again. She called to tell me what had happened after I left. Jake came home and told everyone you refused to help him. Your mom is furious, she's telling everyone you're heartless. What else is new? But Maya, you should know, things are getting really bad over there. Brianna and your mom had a huge fight yesterday. Brianna threw a plate at the wall and threatened to take the baby and leave. That sounds like their problem, not mine. I know, but I thought you should know. Jake looked really desperate when I saw him today. After we hung up, I felt a little bad. Not bad enough to give Jake money, but bad enough to wonder if I was doing the right thing. Then I remembered all the years of watching him coast through life while I worked my ass off. No, I wasn't responsible for fixing Jake's life. He was 30 years old with a wife and a baby. It was time for him to grow up. That was a year ago. After I refused to give Jake money, he tried different things to make money fast. The cryptocurrency podcast lasted 6 weeks. Then he tried day trading with my parents' money and lost most of it. After that, multilevel marketing selling protein shakes. That lasted 2 months. Brianna's still doing Instagram, but she's not getting the success she expected. Having a baby makes it harder to create content consistently. She's constantly complaining that she doesn't have time to film or that the baby cries during videos. The fighting got so bad that my dad installed a lock on their bedroom door. Sarah told me Brianna threw a tantrum last month because my mom wouldn't babysit while she went to an influencer meetup. It's not my job to watch your kid, my mom said. You live here for free, figure it out. The irony wasn't lost on me. My mom, who demanded I pay rent for their empty apartment, was now dealing with 3 freeloaders in her house. They still can't rent out the apartment. After lowering the price multiple times, they found someone willing to pay $1,200 a month, but only furnished. Since I took all the furniture, my parents had to buy cheap stuff to make it rentable. They're barely breaking even. Meanwhile, my life has been great. The promotion came with responsibilities I actually enjoy. I'm working on interesting research projects, and my boss hinted at another promotion next year. I've been saving aggressively and looking at houses. With my new salary and savings, I should be able to put down a decent down payment by spring. Having my own house feels achievable now. I started dating someone too. Mike's an engineer. We met at a work conference, and he's been supportive about my family situation. He can't believe how they treated me. You're the responsible one, he said. They should be proud of you, not trying to use you as their personal ATM. It's nice being with someone who sees things clearly. A few weeks ago, Sarah called with family drama. Your brother and Brianna had a huge fight, she said. Brianna wants to move into your old apartment since your parents can't find a good tenant. But your parents said no because they need the rental income. Even $1,200 a month? Even that, money's tight now. Your dad's talking about getting a part-time job. My dad is 68. The fact that he's considering working again because he's supporting 3 adults and a baby who won't get jobs is sad. What did Brianna say? She said if they don't let her move into the apartment, she's taking the baby and leaving Jake. And go where? She doesn't have money. That's what your mom asked. Brianna said she'd figure it out, maybe move in with her sister. I almost felt bad for Jake, almost. But then I remembered he's 30 and has never taken responsibility for anything. Oh, and Maya, Sarah added, your mom asked if I had your new address. What did you tell her? That I didn't know it, but she's been asking around. I think she might contact you. Let her try, I'm not interested. Sarah was right. A few days later, my mom showed up at my work. I was leaving the building when I saw her by the entrance. I considered going back inside, but she'd seen me. Maya, we need to talk, just 5 minutes. I looked at her, she looked older, more tired. Fine, 5 minutes. We walked to a bench, she sat down, I stayed standing. Maya, I know things got heated, but you're still my daughter. Funny, because last time we talked, you said I wasn't. I was angry, I didn't mean it. What do you want, Mom? I want my family back together. This fighting isn't good for anyone. Then maybe talk to Jake about getting a job instead of asking me to fund his lifestyle. He's trying, Maya, it's just hard for him. It's hard for everyone, the difference is most people don't have parents enabling them for 30 years. She was quiet. We miss you at family dinners. No, you don't, you miss having someone to pay rent and listen to Brianna talk about followers. That's not fair. Isn't it? When's the last time you asked about my job? My life, my goals? When's the last time you were proud of something I accomplished? She couldn't answer. I got promoted twice this year, I continued. I'm buying a house, I'm happy. And none of you have shown interest because you're too busy with Jake's latest crisis. We're proud of you, Maya, we've always been proud. You have a funny way of showing it. I started walking toward my car. Maya, wait, she called. I turned around. Mom, when Jake gets a real job and starts acting like an adult, maybe we can talk. Until then, I'm done being the family ATM. That was 3 weeks ago, I haven't heard from any of them since. I know some people might think I'm being too harsh. That I should help my nephew, that family is family, that I should forgive and forget. But here's the thing, I spent 8 years being the responsible one while watching my parents enable Jake's irresponsibility. I spent 8 years paying rent while he lived for free. I spent 8 years being reminded that nothing was really mine while he was handed everything. I'm done with that dynamic. I have my own life now, my own goals, my own future to think about. If that makes me selfish, then I guess I'm selfish.